Hello, this is Jill from Paper Data Crafting. Thank you for joining me today. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK, and I produce these videos to help you, to inspire you really, to make your own beautiful papercraft projects, and to give you a place to buy the products that I use should you want to. So today this is our project. I do apologise, I posted this on my blog quite a long time ago, a few weeks ago, for a blog hop that the theme was kids cards. And I realised I hadn't brought you the video tutorial, so I'm making up for that today. I'm having a real video blitz today. I think this is my 5th one I'm on. So if I begin to jabber, that's why, because I've sort of going a bit silly. So anyway, let's make our card. So we're going to start off with a blank, and I'm going to use red today because the paper that I'm using, this paper and this one, are from the Pattern Party pack, which is at the back of the catalogue on page 171, the annual catalogue. And it's a pack of paper that you can only get by if you place an order for £170, you would then get £17 to spend free, which you could then use to buy this pack of paper. And it's a huge pack of paper, would last you for years and years, I think. It's got beautiful patterns in it, and I'm using a different one today. So I like this one, but I'm using a different one today. And because this one's got a bit of red in it, I'm going to use a red background for my card. So I'm going to take A4 card. Just wondering whether to do it I might do it tenfold. I'm quite liking these tenfold cards that I've been doing, so I might do that. So piece of A4 card, and I'm cutting it at 10.5, and then I'm going to score it at just under 15. There we go. And if I put them together, it's not far out, but it is just a little bit. So if I bring my bone folder in, and I'll just burnish those sides where I've cut it to get rid of that lip, and then burnish the crease, and then I'm just going to pop it back in here and just trim off a tiny little sliver to even those ends up. There we go. Now I've got perfect ends. Just got a little bit on the end there, just to get rid of that. I can hear you all screaming at the video, don't use your ribbon scissors. They were the only ones I had to hand. Right, okay, then we need a piece, and now I've got a white border here, and then a piece of the piece of designer series paper. So I'll find my white. So I just have a folder like this, and I tend to cut up sheets of Whisper White, which here, into these little 10.5 by 15, and then that's what I use them in with layers on my card. I just always have a pack, but I've also got lots of other little bits of basic white in here should I need some, and I will need some in a minute to stamp the turtle, so I will be using them. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do, so my card now measures 10.5 by 15ish, and I want a 4mm border round. So instead of 10.5, I need 10.5 minus 8, which is 9.7, I hope. Is that right? Hoping that's right. 9.7. And then instead of 15, I need 14.2. There we go. So let's see if that has worked. There we go. Yeah, perfect. That's fine. That's okay with me. That's going to layer on there. And then on top of that, we need a piece of designer series paper, which is, so instead of, what did I cut that down to? 9.7. I need to go down to 8.9, because this is going to be the same border. So 8.9. And then instead of 15, I had 14.2. So instead of 14.2, I need 13.4. There we go. Let's see if that works. That's going on there. Gives you a nice border round. I quite like this chunkier border. Sometimes I want a fine border, but I quite like that chunky border. So that's how that's going to layer. Before we layer it, we need to do some die cutting. Just a little bit of die cutting to make this border here. So I can bring in my mini and grab the plates. And then grab one of these basic border dies. If you haven't yet seen them or haven't used them, you are missing out. These are fabulous. These are great, these dies. Really lovely. So all stitched on both sides, so you can use either side. I'm using the zigzaggy one today. And just going to cut a piece of Granny Apple green cardstock. Let's missing a plate. There we go. Wonder what was going on there. That one goes on there. Real state my plates, but they're fine. They're still cutting fine, so I'm not going to get rid of them. Right, let's move this up here so you can see what I'm doing. Just going to line this up. And it wouldn't really matter if it went a bit askew because I could trim it, but I'm just going to use a bit of low tack tape, bit of washi tape that I've taken a lot of the tack off. Put that in there. Pop that in there. And through it goes. There we go. That's the only bit of die cutting we're going to do today. The message I'm just going to do by hand, so don't need to worry about that. So there we go. There's my border and my snips. There we go. And that is going to go across our card. I did wonder about doing it that way up to be a bit redolent of grass. Maybe I will this time. So I might do it that way up. So that's going there. Just going to can feel the lip on this paper where I've trimmed it. So just take that off. So this is going across there. So a little bit of Tombow. On there. There are some nice grass, there's a nice grass stamp in this stamp set actually that we're going to be using, which you could use for grass. Let me show you. This little one there, just if you do it in a row, it just looks like a very nice little row of grass. Right, and it needs to be about where? About there, do you think? Just eyeballing this today, so you just design a series paper to line it up because you can tell whether it's straight along there, and then just trim off those excess bits right flush with the paper so you get a really nice join there. There we go. And then this is going to mount on here, and then that's going to mount on our, oops, throw my Tombow around. There we go. Put that on there. And instead of using the cocktail stick, I might actually use my silicone brush that Jez bought me. Oh, now several people have been asking about these. They're on Amazon. I think they're called silicone brushes, and they're in the makeup-y bit, sort of the hair and makeup bit of Amazon. But if you, there's not that many. When you Google silicone brush, it's not only them that come up. It's all sorts of other things. But they are there. If I remember, I will try and put a link, because I have discovered a link. So that there, and that's going to mount on there. And they are good, these silicone brushes. I'm very grateful to Jez for gifting me one. They come in packs of 3, which is why she gifted it to me. But it's very useful. And you only need one. You don't need a pack of 3. The glue just peels off it when it dries, so it's perfect. You don't need to do a lot of cleaning or anything. There now. Remember, the Tombow will give you a little bit of wiggle room if you don't get it down quite right the first time. There we go. Just want to get those borders correct. Is that right? Maybe just a tad this way. There. Right, okay, so I'm going to put this away for the moment while we do the turtle, or the tortoise actually. In the UK, we call tortoises and turtles, but I know in the US it's slightly different in that tortoises and turtles are all turtles, but not all turtles are tortoises, if you see what I mean. Very confusing. So when I saw that set and it's called Turtle Friends, and I thought, well, it's not turtles, it's tortoises, but that's the reason why in America they are turtles. Right, okay, so now we need to do our tortoise. We've got a punch for this, which is great. So I need a little bit of white, whisper white. As I said, I keep all my scraps in here. So let's find a scrap that we can use. That will do. And I'm going to stamp my turtle twice. So once, and then do it again. Like so. If you're doing this at home, just leave it for a few minutes to dry. I'm not going to do that because I'm on camera, but it would be better if the Memento ink had a chance to dry. Right, okay, so I'm going to take my light Granny Apple Green marker, blends pen rather, not my marker, and I'm going to colour in this my tortoise. I've used this blend quite a lot actually, and I think it's running out. It's not as inky as it was. So just carefully around there. Actually, I'm going to change tack and use the other end. It's quite small spaces here and I don't want to go over the lines. So just colour him in light green blends. Of course, you can use another colouring medium. You could use our watercolour pencils. You could use a water painter. You could even use something with our blends brush. Just use ink from one of your stamp pads and a blender pen. Lots of options for colouring. Yeah, I think the end that's the brush pen is running out on this one. It's giving me a bit of a lined image here, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to sort that out in a minute. Right, there we go. Do his little tail. And he's more or less done. And I'm just going to turn this round and take this end again and go over it, and that will smooth out, that will blend all those together and give me a very smooth, although you're not going to see most of this because I'm going to do another one that's going to be cut out. So this time I only need to colour his shell. So turn it round, do all the finer details with the bullet point. There we go. Wonder what you've all been up to today. By the time this video goes out, I should be back from France. We're going to France for a couple of days to go to one of the Christmas markets. We're going to Lille for a couple of days, just Wednesday, Thursday. So by the time this goes out, I should be back, hopefully. I'm trying to get myself organised to get everything organised so that my blog doesn't suffer while I'm away. There we go. Right, and then I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green pad, stamp the pattern of the shell, and then just stamp it on that one where I did just coloured the shell. Just stamp that on there. And there we go. That gives me his shell. And then I can take my punch. I'm going to have to trim this down a little bit. So I can fit this in. So line him up. Oh, I've forgotten to do his feet. His nails. Are they nails or what? Whatever they are on his feet. I just need to go back and do that in a sec. I will do that. Right, and I'm going to cut this one out. I'm going to punch this one out. But then I'm going to go round it and cut out the rest of it by hand. Right, there we go. So we've got 2 turtles. So I'm going to take my snips, and I'm actually going to cut a bit closer to the shell, to the black line. And you can cut off all the other bits. All we want is the shell for this one. Don't know if I've ever told you about this, but my father-in-law, who is 97, he is amazing, still lives independently. Up until now, he hasn't had any help, but we're just trying to organise a cleaner for him and maybe somebody to nip in on a daily basis to just keep an eye on him. But he's absolutely amazing. But he keeps tortoises. He's got 3 or 4 tortoises that live in the garden during the summer. He's made a little box for them. Yeah, he looks after them really well. He knows what they like. They like frozen peas. They like a bit of banana. Yeah, they've had them for over 50 years. My husband bought one of them. My husband is now 67, and he bought one of them when he was about 10, I think. Just came home with a tortoise, and his sister the same. She got one. I don't know, it must have been a pet shop selling them off or something. I don't know. Right, I've just coloured in the nails and the tail in the dark granny apple green, and then I'm just going to place some dimensionals. Oh, where's my take your pick tool gone? Oh, there it is, got it out. I was going to say, it rarely makes it to the drawer anymore because I use it so much. Right, okay, and I'm just taking some dimensionals, which have now stuck to my take your pick tool. There we go. 1, 2, and one more at the top, I think. And then that can go on here. There we go. And that can go there on top. And then he's going to go on some dimensionals himself. We've got a double layer of dimensionals. Don't know who my husband is speaking to. He's speaking very loud. He's in the office. His office is next to mine. Speaking very loudly on the phone to somebody. Right, I'm just going to take some little ones, some mini dimensionals, and pop them there on his feet. And then he can go on our card. Oh, well, let me find the card blank. What should I do with it? Just put it over here. There we go. He's ready to go on our card blank, like so. It's quite a cheeky little fellow, isn't he? Still prefer to do the backing with my tweezers of dimensionals rather than you can use the take the pick tool, but I prefer to use my tweezers. There we go. And he's going there. Now I've got a couple more bits to do. One bit is to do his hat. So I think this is a big enough piece. Have I got his hat mounted on it? Yes, I have. There we go. Let's stamp that in. Memento. And then we're going to colour it. I might colour it with markers actually, because it's a very small space and they have a much finer nib on them. So we will do red. So we can just colour this in. Much easier than with the brush tip. Although you could do it really carefully if you wanted to with the bullet ends of your blends. Just checking that was real red, it looked a bit dark. What should we do next? What other colours are in the paper? Looks like Coastal Cabana, so we'll do a stripe of Coastal Cabana. And then we'll do, what other colours are in here? Granny Apple Green. Let's do a Granny Apple Green. Wrong end. And then a yellow. We'll do Daffodil Delight. keep opening the wrong end. And then I'm going to go back to Coastal Cabana to do the pom-pom. Haven't coloured with the markers for ages. There is a difference in colouring with the markers rather than the blends, I have to say. But with this little hat, it doesn't really matter too much. Right, we're then going to fussy cut, being really careful not to cut that pom-pom off. There we go. And just very carefully around this pom-pom. It's a bit fiddly. A little bit fiddly. But it'll be fine. Just be very careful not to cut the pom-pom off. And just the last little bit. I don't mind fussy cutting. This is I wouldn't want to do many of these though. There we go. And then I'm just going to put half a mini dimensional on there. I don't know whether the full one will fit. So I'll just take a little half. Actually, I've got a tiny bit of dimensional there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that a little bit. Tiny, tiny little bit of dimensional. And pop that on the pom-pom on his hat. And then this is going to stick on him. And all we've got left to do is the sentiment. There we go. Right, that's going on him here. Nice party hat. There we go. Looks fun, doesn't it? And then I just need a little bit of white to stamp my happy birthday message. I'm doing happy birthday. Again, I think this is quite a nice happy birthday card. So let's just try and get that straight. Sorry if my head's in the way. Just need to be right over it. There we go. That's perfect. And I am going to trim this off about here. And I'm then going to trim it this way. And then I'm just going to cut in some fishtails. So I'm going to, it's a bit long, so let's just trim that bit off. So I'm going to cut in the middle. Of course, we have got a punch that you can do this with, but if you're feeling lazy like me, too lazy to get your punch out, you can do it like that. Punch in, slit in the middle, and then take the two corners to meet. And then that is just going down here. Just going to trim another little bit off, that's a bit too wide. And then bit of tombow, bit of spreading, and our card is made. There we go. And there we go. Get rid of all the rubbish, and you can see both cards. There you go. Turtle Friends, little birthday card, suitable for children, I think, really nice. I quite like that die up that way. I wish I'd done it that way before. But yeah, there we are. Thanks very much for watching. Everything I've used will be linked below. Link to my online shop will be below. Link to my blog will be below. And my code for this month in November is KXFG7S2K. Pop that in the host code when you're ordering, and I will send you a free gift next month, which will be exciting to look forward to. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.